first thing we're gonna do is we gotta remove the cover that covers the spark plugs and the coils, which we gotta remove this bolt, that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, and that bolt. So there are 10. So once you take those bolts off, the cover is just supposed to lift up like that, and you're able to expose the ignition coils as well as the spark plugs, which are under the ignition coils. So now we got to take the electrical connectors that are connected to the ignition coils. Okay, one thing I noticed is that the connectors are pretty tight on there, meaning that there's not much space to remove the connector. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this little clip here, and you're gonna move it towards you, and then this should lift up as so. Okay, and that should give you a little bit more flexibility to take out these electrical connectors. Okay, the electrical connectors are taken out by this clip here. You press it, you see? To take out these electrical connectors that attach to the ignition coils, you have to press on this tab. Watch as I press on this tab, it's gonna lift up. Okay, once you hear that click, you should be able to take the connector out by sliding the connector that way. Okay, making sure not to pull by the cable. Okay, you gotta pull by the actual plastic connector, or you risk ruining the cable or taking one of the cables out of its position inside this connector here. So just you're gonna need two hands. I can't really show you because I'm holding the camera, but you're gonna need two hands. You press this, and with the other hand you remove the connector. You can even press this with one finger and then insert a flathead, and then just wiggle the flathead until this comes out. This is an example. I have pushed the connector, and all I'm gonna do is just put a flathead here and just move it. See? And I should be able to take the connector out as well to this one. Let me see. Push it. Once it's pushed, you insert the screwdriver, and then you take the other connector out as well as this one. Push. Some of them are gonna try to snap back in place, so that's why I say do it with two hands, but since I'm holding the camera, I'm trying to do it with one. There we go. And then you do it to the other one as well. Once all the connectors are disconnected, this should be able to come out. So just put it on the side. Okay, now you're gonna need a 10mm to take this, that one, and that one, and that one. These are the ignition coils, okay, that provide spark to the spark plug. Okay, so you're gonna take those 10mm out, and then you're gonna take the ignition coils out. They come up. Make sure you put the bolts in a safe place, because you're gonna be reusing them. And now the coils are able to come out. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna pull them up with your hand like that. Okay, and you can just put them to the side. You can put them, you know, up there, you know, anywhere where you know they won't get damaged. Okay, so take all three coils out. Okay, so this is where the spark plugs go. Let me see if I can show you. There's one there, there's the other one, the other one, and the other one. Okay, so I'm going to use a spark plug socket to remove those spark plugs. So these are the condition of the spark plugs. Yeah, they definitely need to be changed. You know, I'm not getting no codes, I'm not getting no misfire or anything like that, but I'm doing it for maintenance. But look, you see that burnt ring around the top of the plug? That's a definite indication that the spark plug is needing a replacement. So okay, so the part number that you're going to replace the spark plugs with is 96964. They're the laser iridium plug, as you can see, identical to the ones that I took out. These do not need to be gapped. These come pre-gapped already. Okay, and do not try to gap them or you risk damaging the electrode. Okay, so just install. These are already pre-gapped from the manufacturer. Before installing the spark plugs back on the cylinder, you're going to need to put anti-seize on the thread. This is very important. You know, there's a lot of heat generated inside the cylinder head, okay? So this prevents the seizing, the galling, and the corrosion of the spark plugs. And when it's time to replace the spark plugs again, you know, it's a lot easier to take them out with this anti-seize lubricant on it, rather than if you were to just put them without. You run the risk of the spark plug corroding or seizing to the head, and then if you try to take it out with a ratchet or anything like that, you can actually break the plug, and it's going to be a very, very tough job to take it out. So make sure you put the anti-seize on it. One quick tip is do not go overboard with the anti-seize. Do not put too much, you know, just put enough. You don't have to put it on every single thread, because once you start putting it inside, you know, that same anti-seize was going to keep, you know, pushing up the thread as you screw it in. And if you put too much anti-seize, once you're trying to, you know, tighten the plug, you can risk over tightening the plug because you put too much anti-seize thinking that the plug needs more tightening. Okay, so don't put too much anti-seize, just put enough. Always install your plug by hand first. Okay, so you can make sure that the thread was able to successfully enter, because if you try to do it with your electric ratchet and you strip or damage the thread, that's a big job to take out or to correct. So but do them by hand, and then you can just tighten them with a ratchet. Okay guys, all my spark plugs have been installed. Okay, make sure that when you're putting the coils back on, you put some dielectric grease. Okay, this insulates electrical contacts from water and potentially other things that can get inside the electrical contact. So this is a really good brand here. Just put it inside the coils on this side here. And the great thing about this one is that you can just press it, you know, stick it inside the coil, press it, and then it releases a string of grease. So make sure you do that on every coil before you install. Okay guys, I put my coils back. I just need to put the bolts, and then just basically install in reverse order. Okay, on this plug, sorry, not the plug, but the coil, I noticed that, you know, an easier way you could do is you could plug the coil first before sitting it, so then you won't be battling to try to connect it in that little space. Let me see if I can get my light so you can see better. You know, that little space that you have to connect the coil. What you can do is you can lift the coil up a little bit, connect it, and then drop it down. Okay, so let's down the reverse order, and that's basically it.